through like that, he said, you never know. I went one of the times in Cork, he took me around roundabouts, housing estates, backing and that. Oh, it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
But this is all the things you will meet in life when you're driving.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I found it very good. It gave the one thing that when Michael O'Connor said to me about driving again, your independence is important. And as long as you can try and get yourself independent to do things, not just small things, if you wanted to go to the shop and drive here and there, very important.
Yes, yeah.
And we said that was very essential, that you wouldn't be confined, that you could do certain amount of things yourself.
Yeah.
And
would you agree with that?
I would, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, very important. And
so on a score out of 10, like 0 to 10, how important would you put driving?
Well, I suppose getting over the problem first,
yes,
and get a certain amount of mobility.
Yeah.
After that, you put it 7 out of 10.
Yeah, it's hugely important. So.
Yeah, hugely important. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he even told me that people with Alzheimer's at the early stages are still advise them they can drive if they go to the local shop for a paper and things like that, as long as they're in their comfort zone.
Absolutely.
And it's important to have that independence, because otherwise you could find you'd kind of give up.
Okay. Yeah.
And I've been lucky since I got that. I have travelled a lot. I've been in Australia, New Zealand, and America. But I must say the most important thing was my support. My wife, I couldn't go to these places without her.
Sure.
But they normally got the wheelchair assistance at the airport and that, and she looked after all the documentation and the luggage and things like that.
Yeah.
But she played a huge part of recovery in my, encouragement in getting back to something of normality.
Okay. At the start, how did she feel about your driving, and did she have any anxieties about it?
No, she didn't know. She was supportive all the way.
Yeah.
Whatever. She knew what I had gone through, like in stages I'd made improvement.
Sure.
And her feeling was, well, if you succeed in the other things, why not try this?
Sure, yeah.
And I was lucky before I got the stroke, I had an automatic car.
Yes, yeah.
And then I had to get it modified, put in left-hand accelerator when I was driving, and if she wanted to drive the car, she pulled down the right accelerator.
Yeah.
And that was, other than that, then I had on the wheel, steering wheel, I had this spinner,
Sure, yeah.
That was important because I could bring the car around so much, but if I'm going around the roundabout, you'd have the complete circle.
Sure.
And I needed that, and I still up to this day. Yeah.
How about parking?
No.
Yeah. No difficulties parking.
No. Wing mirrors used, and sensors in the back of the car help as well. That applies to all people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know sometimes there's difficulties with getting parking spots.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us a bit about that, or?
Well, even at your own clinic here, there's 2 parking spots outside.
Yes. Yeah.
The bane of my life is when I arrive, I don't mind people who are disabled parking there.
Yeah.
But when people park in these disabilities,
yeah.
And I said even to the parking guy in the town, do you ever check out those? And there is an €80 fine, and that should be enforced.
Yeah.
I know a person with a disability, and she had a notice available to put on cars. Now you've taken my space, will you take my disability as well?
Yes, yeah. And she put this on the car.
Yeah, she did, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's very important, people don't realise that there's only certain things you can do, and these parking spaces are there for a reason.
Sure.
Yeah.
So are they abused outside the clinic here, are they?
Well, they are all over.
Yeah.
I was here last week and I saw 2 cars parked. One had a disc, other one hadn't.
Sure. Yeah.
And one day I was coming in here, and there was a girl. She parked her car, and she said, "Oh, I'll give you 2 seconds." I came in, got blood samples, and I got those done, and I was here for a quarter of an hour. Her car was still outside.
Sure. Yeah.
And she was only in her 20s.
Sure.
she could have legged it to the
Hello.
front
Yeah.
clinic. Yeah.
Okay. I suppose since all that, Pat, you've had a few other illnesses
Yes.
came along, a few episodes.
Medical curiosity, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I got the stroke in 2006, and then 2011. The one thing about the stroke then, they were monitoring me a fair bit, and I had a murmur in my heart, and I was going to this cardiologist, and he was monitoring this out twice a year, and eventually he came and said, Dr. Carney, he said, it was the cardiologist, he said, now Pat, I think it's time, we have to do something. We have to have a bypass and replace your aorta valve. What do you think about that? Well, I said, if you think I have to have it, let's go be positive.
Sure.
And I had the operation in COH, that was 2011. And when I had they were obviously opening cardiac unit there, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
The support staff, you know, and even the patients, that they were relaxed there.
Yes. Yeah.
So I eventually wheeled down, had my operation, and after the operation, I don't remember anything for 2 days.
Yes.
My wife came in and my son came in, and they were talking to me. Don't remember anything. I woke up after the second day, 2 days out, cold, and next morning I could have my breakfast and I was fine. I had no pain or an ache and no tubes, they were all gone. So, and I'd say the lessons that I learned from the stroke, being positive, were very important, you know.
Yes.
Because I saw people in there, and they were as nervous as hell. Oh my God, people. There was one guy, we were 5 of us in the ward, he didn't talk to anybody.
Yes.
For 3 days before he had the operation. And then after that operation, that was in June 2011, I got endocarditis, into COH again. And while I was there, anyway, Dr. Carney came in even that night, and he came up to me and said, Pat, we've diagnosed what you have. It means you'll be in your bed for a month here with intravenous injections and read a book for the month.
Mm-hmm.
So that was another month in COH.
Sure.
Yeah.
And how did you feel about that? Did you?
Well, it's just one of those things that comes
Yeah.
along your way. You just meet it head on, and
Sure.
you put your faith in the people that are doing the
Sure.
operation, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
If you go to the specialist, you expect you'll come out at the other end.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And apart from that, I don't. That's most of my.
Yeah. And how have you been since?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Although I was over in London, another son of ours there, 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and this makes it the point I made already. I was having a shower, and it was the longest shower with the length of the table, or a bit more, and I was coming out of the shower, and of course this leg has very little power in it. My leg went from under me, and my reaction then was to try and grab something, and he had a vertical radiator with bars, you know, like a tower rail, and I put out my elbow like that, and I was hanging off this with my leg, couldn't put it under me. My wife came to my rescue as usual,
Sure.
and she put a towel under my foot, and I got a grip to get up. If I was on my own, I would have broke my hand, that's it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can see the swelling there at the
Sure.
moment, you know.
Yeah.
That's a part of the trauma.
Is that getting better now? Is it?
Slowly,
Yeah.
it's still a bit of a lump there,
Sure.
but I had an
Yeah.
X-ray at that, and
Yeah.
just,
Yeah. Okay. So we have kind of different headings that we talk under, Pat. So what would you think, like, I suppose we've covered most of this already, the effects of the illness on you? What would your thoughts be on that?
Well, you've certain limitations,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
if you accept those, it helps.
Yes. Yeah.
You know,
Mm,
you're not as good as you were before.
sure.
You have certain limitations, and you
Yeah.
live with those,
Yeah.
and be positive.
Sure.
Yeah, and of course, this has a very important effect on the family.
Yeah.
You know, if they say you're down, you can't do anything, you can't do this, you can't do that, you know, that disrupts the family. So I would say that I try and do as much as I can for myself,
Sure.
except help when I need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you have a global family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I do the travelling.
Sure.
I have a son in Australia, and his wife and 2 kids are coming tomorrow
Yeah.
for Christmas.
Yeah.
His twin brother is normally in Washington and he's with his wife, and they have 2 kids, but they're none enough these 2 years, and they're
Yeah.
going back there next year.
Mhm.
And I have another daughter in San Francisco, and we have another daughter, she's in Newmarket in England, and we have one son at home,
Mhm.
and home now.
Oh.
He's in Mexico at the moment.
Yeah. But he doesn't live at home with you, is it?
No, he's living in Limerick.
Limerick,
Yeah.
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 Mhm. Yeah.
But he's in Mexico at the moment, and then he's going to San Francisco.
Yeah.
So he'll be back by Christmas.
Do they worry about you? That they?
Oh, well, they always keep in phone contact.
Yes. Yeah. Mhm.
And I always try to put a bright side.
Sure.
I don't be whinging or complaining.
Sure. Yeah.
I was, of course, the men's club here from somebody talked the other day. He said, if you smile, it has an effect on other people as well.
Sure. Yeah.
If you say, I'm not great, and I was worse yesterday, that negative thing shouldn't enter
Sure.
the agenda at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, you're interested in playing cards. We were talking about that earlier. So.
At my expense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. How important was that to you to go back?
Well, it's trying to get back to normality.
Yeah. Mhm.
Because I'm playing these cards for